Hello, people of the internet van Graan here, and I am doing my first book tag, or tag. I'm doing the Booktube NewB tag. This was suggested to me by A Time to Share Books. I'm going to link her channel below. I'm also going to link some other South African booktubers that I have found on my journeys. If you know about anybody else, please let me know in the comments and I'll add them. We need to help South Africa booktubing grow. We can't just be looking at British and American peoples. We need our own space. So I'd really love if we can all share out South African booktubers that we know, and that we can maybe even start a South African book tag or tag. I don't know what these things are called. Okay, so we're gonna do it. So let's just get right into it, and then at the end I'll have some other general discussions. Why start the channel? Couple of reasons. I've been part of the Booktube community for a while, and nobody was reading the same books that I was reading, and I really wanted to talk about a lot of these stuff, and then either I'd get to a video way too late and then nobody would reply in my comments. I wanted to be part of the community. I wanted to be able to interact directly and talk to you guys about what I'm reading, what's happening to literature overall, what's the strength of a book, what's the weakness of a book, and what we can learn from that. Fun and unique things about me. Now I have to brag. I think definitely the South African bit is pretty unique. I am going to do some Afrikaans book reviews soon. Fun things about me. I have mice. Look at them. They're adorable. I don't know where they are. They're adorable. I don't know. It's pretty difficult to quantify what is the me personality that you guys are seeing here. But I think definitely if you get bored, you can look at mice. What other booktuber can say that? Thing I am most excited about is possibly doing collabs with other booktubers. Obviously, that will come in time. I'm still very new at this. I'm still learning a lot. But meeting other booktubers, meeting new people through this, talking about books in person. Maybe I'll even do my own book club someday. That is the dream. So there are so many possibilities and things to be excited about. I don't know if I can just say this thing. It's all of the things that comes with having a community. Why I love reading? Sure, I started like reading properly since the first time I started to read. Primary school, I did all the Harry Potter books twice. Okay, 7 times in Afrikaans, 5 times in English. So a lot more than twice, but I've always loved reading. I don't know if I can put my finger on it. I love narrative and I love storytelling. And I feel like most books just have extra oomph to them that series and movies seldom have. I feel like the craft behind reading, behind writing, is something unique and valuable and special, and that gem, that capsule is what I need sometimes. Sometimes I just get this yearning in my soul for a new story and I need to be part of it, and I feel part of that world and I need to tell it to everybody, and now I get to speak to you guys about it, because previously I just had to keep all this excitement to myself and it's terrible. Okay, I kind of answered this one already. I started loving reading from the first book I picked up. We did. South African people will probably know those children books with the magical key that takes them to other universes. We did those, and I remember as well Tintin, or Kaifie in Afrikaans, was also some of the first stuff that I loved reading. So it's just getting to experience different worlds through storycraft, and it's just always been part of me. The first time I realized that these little thingies on a page can mean something and can give you a window into something new, I loved it. I guess it's probably about balance. That's the thing that I would ask about. How do you know how to not focus in on only the thing that you love most? Because for me it is fantasy, but I'm trying to read broader than that. How do you make sure that you're not just chasing hype and trends? And how do you make sure that you read enough of everything? Because I generally know what I like. So most of the books I read have good reviews because I know what I want. And then, yeah, it's about balance. How do you find balance? Like, is it a list and you try to keep to the list, only 5 fantasy books a year? Or do you just kind of go wherever? Challenges. My technical skill, guys, I don't have it. I got the new mic just recently. I put some noise suppression on it, and that's what I got. I couldn't even get it to work with Windows 10 on my own. I needed to call a friend. So technical challenges are definitely the thing that's most difficult for me. Video, audio quality, editing, stuff like that. I am trying to learn, but that's the most difficult part. Sitting and speaking to myself, that's fine. Afterwards, getting this speaking to work, that's a bit more difficult. Where do I read? Okay, so that's different depending on what type of book I'm reading. So if I read audiobooks, it's usually while I'm doing some life admin, working on my flat, cleaning. Sometimes I do crafts and I listen to stories. Sometimes I just really need some lazy time, so I play games on my phone while listening. Otherwise, reading other books, it is mostly at home, but when I go on holidays, I always take a couple of books with me. It's just my escape, so it doesn't really matter where it happens, but I am a tad bit ADHD, so I do need kind of an environment that's conducive to me just focusing on the one thing. Otherwise, I will read the one paragraph 5 times and keep looking at that other lady doing that weird thing with her nose. So I need a space. I need my space to read. What types of books do I read most often? I'm not really such a big fan of the young adult stuff. Most of it talks down to the reader a little bit, and I like the darker themes that sometimes come with adult books. Fantasy is obviously my top genre. Historic, also good. I'm not really a fan of anything with guns. Like historic up to Renaissance. I don't like guns. I have been reading some science fiction. I'm trying to get more into contemporary, but that's definitely the genre I hate the most. I've also been getting a little bit more into non-fiction this year. Okay, so that was the NewB Booktube tag. If you are a new booktuber, comment down below. If you're South African, I'll add you to the list. And then definitely do a tag as well. I don't know of anybody who hasn't done this tag yet, so I don't know who I can tag. But I'll say this. If you're looking into starting your own booktube channel, if you are an avid reader and you feel like you have a little bit of time and you have thoughts and you have things that you need to tell to people and you want to kind of document it or share your experiences, I think go for it. I am doing this from my webcam. I used to do it from an old mic attached to a headset that hurt my ears. So I just say go for it. Do the NewB book tag. It gives you a little bit of a way to think about things. But yeah, so if you're a newbie or a maybe, go for it. Then getting into some other general discussions. I, like probably most booktubers or most people really passionate about reading and storytelling, I am writing a novel. These characters have been in my head since grade 7. After university last year November, I was like, okay, now we're going for it. No more waiting around, no more excuses. I am writing. And I set myself the goal, 2,000 words a week. And I hit those goals every month. And then I heard about NaNoWriMo. And I was like, whoa, 50,000 words. I'm always up for a challenge. So I went for it. Unfortunately, like I knew about this going in. I knew this would be close to impossible for me because work has been like the ocean and I'm in the break of the waves. It's been crashing and crashing and crashing and it hasn't stopped. And I pushed myself, but I couldn't finish NaNoWriMo, unfortunately. But I can't bring myself to be disappointed because I know realistically about the pressures. And I'm really glad I did it. Now my goals aren't going to be as mediocre as 2,000 words a week. Through NaNoWriMo, I learned I can do 20,000 words a month. November has been the hardest month that I've had this year. And I did more than 20,000 words. I think I did about 30,000. I can do 20,000 words a month. So I am definitely pushing my writing game by this. So yeah, I'm super stoked I did it. But unfortunately, I did fail. And just in case you were wondering, I'm not going to be doing AuthorTube videos, advice videos on writing as of yet. I don't feel like, obviously I know a bit. I have a degree in English literature and linguistics. I know a bit about this stuff. But I'm not gonna try to speak with any sense of authority on anything before I have my first novel published. So I'm writing down notes, I'm writing down ideas, but I don't feel confident in speaking about something that I don't know yet, that I am learning about myself. So look out for that. Look out for me maybe publishing a book. Definitely not in the next year. There's a long road ahead of me, and I know that. But through my experience with NaNoWriMo, that road might be cut significantly shorter. Yeah. For you guys to take my review seriously, I need to explain how I do my ratings. So I use the classic 1 to 5 stars that we all learned on Goodreads. And the way I basically do it is 1 star is horrible. I hated it. I probably didn't finish it. This book should be burned. No. That's completely no. 2 stars, it's really bad, but probably like doodle paper. Don't burn it. Just, yeah. 3 is okay. This is a fine book. It's not good. It exists. It can exist. It's just, meh. Then 4 stars is getting into the good category. I really enjoyed this book. It does have some problems, but I enjoyed it, and it's worth my time, because I think that's how I do the ratings. It's like, how much worth my time and money was this? And then 5 stars is, I loved it. I really enjoyed this. This was a benefit to my life. I would recommend it to people. It gave me something, because that's what I want from reading. I want to gain something, experience, joy, a new outlook on life, a new way to think about themes. Just, it needs to give me something, and I think 5 stars is that giving me something. And if that something is wish fulfillment and like giddy enjoyment, then that is more than enough for me. So then I think you've probably been noticing that I rate a lot of my books really highly. There are a couple of reasons for this. First, I have been reading for a while now. I know what I like. I actively avoid contemporary because I know those are mostly going to be 3 stars. It exists, but meh. So I know what I like. I can read a blurb and know this is going to work for me. I have a lot of experience in what type of books I generally enjoy. Do I sometimes pick up some oddities in secondhand bookstores? Yes, and I will be doing a review soon of Company of the Courtesan, which was not what I expected at all. But mostly I know what I like, and I read what I like, because I'm spending my time and my money on it, and I want it to be worthwhile. So just to give you a bit of an idea on how some of the ratings might look. Heart of Darkness is an example of a 1-star book. No. I had to read it for university, not something I would pick up for myself, and I know why. Nothing happens, and then stupid stuff happens, and then more nothing happens, and then sprinkle racism. No, I didn't do that. I don't understand why some of these classic literature books are so highly rated. It's ridiculous, and I hated it. No. Next one, Gulliver's Travels. It's really a toss-up between this and Robinson Crusoe for a 2-star book. Jonathan Swift, I love your satire. Your honest proposal is the best philosophical satire I have read in my life. But you need an editor, sir. The paragraphs, one sentence can go on for a page, and this is the same from Robinson Crusoe, so I think it's a style of the time period. And the only value in this is if you know the background about the characters that he's satirizing. If you know this world is supposed to depict these people. But as just a book to enjoy, no. It's just no good. Then 3, I'm gonna go with Alice in Wonderland as an example of a 3-star book. It exists. It's fine, I guess. It's just, there are good parts about it, there are bad parts about it. It's just, yeah. Would I recommend it to somebody? If you particularly want to. Otherwise, there are better things to read. 4-star book, Frankenstein. I will do a review of this one because I loved it and I loved the themes. Reason 4 stars, not 5, is some of the pacing is a bit wonky. Some of the ideas of the time are a bit wonky. Yeah, it's just, the main story was good, but it could have been so much better. And I don't think this is one that you can reread and find enjoyment from again, because the themes and stuff, you do need to do some additional reading, and you do need to concentrate on that part of it. It's not as enjoyable, and probably if you took a class on Frankenstein, it's the same as reading it. It's difficult. It's not as good as a 5-star, I'd say. And then for 5 stars, I could take nothing else than my favorite book, The Host by Stephanie Meyers. Why do I love this book? Is it the best written book in the world? No. Is it amazing? Yes. Reasons I love it. Wish fulfillment. The sci-fi mixed with the romance and all the characters. I loved it so much. I have reread this book 16 times. There are like plants growing inside here. Look at these pages. This book has been loved. I love this book. You know what? I think I should give another example of a 5-star book. Night Circus. A lot less enjoyment from this book, but oh my word, these descriptions stay with you. This is a book that deserves 5 stars for craft. I will also be doing a review on this later. It's not as much in the enjoyment, but the craft and the way it sticks with you, it deserves those 5 stars. Some other notes on how I look at reviewing and rating books. I am somebody who believes in death of the author, which means that I don't take a text relevant to its context. So, for example, just because J.K. Rowling says Dumbledore's gay, he's not going to be gay in my canon. It has to be written, it has to be shown in the books. You take the text at face value. Can you sometimes look at the surrounding time periods, at the surrounding contexts, for hints or further reading? Yes. Does that make the book better? No. No, the book should stand alone. The text should stand and exist alone. Because in the end, you can't know the backstory fully, but you can know the text fully. So I am 100% an advocate of death of the author, and that is how I review books and texts, with that kind of background of death of the author. So yeah, that was my Booktube NewB tag and some discussions about my relationship with books as a writer, and then how I review. So Please let me know down below if there's anything else that you wanted to know, that you have questions on, anything that you would like to discuss further. Do we need a whole video on Death of the Author, or are we all in agreement on that? I don't know. Let me know, and I will see you next week. Bye!